Hi guys, so this is the Beast X Mini, a smaller version of the Beast X mouse I reviewed a couple of months back, but this is not just a smaller version because performance-wise this is actually better. With the newest firmware, the Beast X Mini can go up to 8K polling wirelessly, and with it the motion delay is around minus 0.7 milliseconds. It is not as low as the Razer 8K implementation, for example, but at least on my system the polling stability seems to be very good even with 8K polling. And the difference is very small, so the performance can be considered top tier. At 4K polling the result is then around minus 0.4 milliseconds from my control unit, which is the same as the regular Beast X and some other 4K polling mice out there, like from Waxy and G-Wolves. So all around the motion latency is very good. I have mainly used the Mini with 4K polling in Apex since the battery runs out quite fast with 8K polling and it needs recharging after around 8 hours of playtime. With 4K I can play for like 16 hours with one charge, which is good enough for me. Previously there was a bug in the firmware related to the sleep setting of the mouse, and the mouse basically never entered complete sleep mode and ran out of juice if I left it on. I was gonna say in this video that an update is coming soon, but it actually just arrived like a day ago. So if you have this mouse, go and update the firmware of the mouse, dongle, and the new software as well. The update is very good. Then let's talk about their click latency, which then is very impressive on the newest firmware. The mouse measures around 340 microseconds on every polling rate from 1K to 8K with the standard deviation of around 50 microseconds, which is nuts. The result is even lower than the FinalMouse ULX, which makes this the lowest click latency of a wireless mouse that I've measured. Does it make a big difference in real use? I don't believe so, but it's always great to see companies breaking the barriers and getting closer to these theoretically lowest possible numbers. So performance on the Beast X Mini is top notch. Then another thing they have changed with the Mini are the switches. So this time they are using the Huano transparent blue shell pink dots instead of the Omron opticals, and they have a surprisingly similar feeling with their implementation. I don't have the regular Beast X with me anymore, but if my memory serves me right, these have a slightly lighter actuation force, a little bit more post-travel, similar pre-travel, and a slightly less metallic click feeling. These clicks feel really good and I really have no negatives to say about them. They are quite spammable, tactile, and quite light. The side buttons feel very rigid as well, and they are positioned nicely even though this mouse is so damn small. I don't have any like accidental press with my thumb with these side buttons. The scroll wheel is a bit too stiff to my liking, and the slipperiness of the wheel kinda emphasize on that, so that could be a good upgrade point for them in the future. I can however play with it with zero problems, and tap strafing is not a problem with it, but I still prefer the GPX2 scroll wheel over this in Apex. Like the bigger brother, the Mini is structurally very solid, and it has not developed any creaking or flexing on this magnesium shell during these past 3 weeks of usage. Their fully magnesium click structure is yet again super sturdy, and there is no sideways wobbling on the main buttons. There is one particular thing they did with the build of this mouse that I'm not the biggest fan of, and it is the way they hold the PCB on the bottom plate. They are not using screws on it at all, and instead the PCB is held with plastic rivets to, I guess, save some weight. Luckily they have threaded the holes below the rivets, so if you ever need to remove the PCB to solder some new switches, for example, you can then reattach the PCB with some screws that sadly WLMOUSE doesn't provide with the mouse. I think the screws you need are sized M1.4 x 3.5 micro screws, but I'm not 100% sure since I have not done that myself. I just dug that info from their Discord to help anyone who's wondering. But with this groundbreaking weight reduction, the mouse weighs around 35 grams with the stock dots gauge, which is very lightweight. With the side grips and the larger included PTFE gauge, the weight is 38 grams, which then makes this mouse so heavy it's unplayable. I'm just kidding, of course, it is still super lightweight. So then let's talk a bit about the shape. It is small, and it is probably too small for a lot of you out there. The shape resembles the FinalMouse small shape, being a tiny bit lower in profile, which makes this a very good mouse for fingertip gripping. I am mostly a claw grip player, so I'm not gonna lie, the first 2 or 3 days were really weird with this mouse. The main issue I had was the super low profile combined with the overall narrowness of the mouse, but after some time I kinda got used to pincer clawing this mouse, like this. Now I feel pretty comfortable with it. Not like waxy levels of comfort, but comfortable enough. Like compared to these other mice on my desk, it is clear that this is the smallest in every way. Because the mouse is so small, this time I feel like it's a necessity for me to use the included side grips. They provide a little bit more comfort and grippiness and hide the side holes somewhat. You can still feel the holes underneath, but they in a way work as a grip improving mechanism, at least for me. Other accessories that come with the mouse are of course this cat dongle that has glowy eyes. You can set their color in their software, the USB cord, 2 pairs of black PTFE skates that are actually very good stock skates in my opinion, 2 pairs of glass skates that I haven't even tried, and some cute stickers that are a must-have with a premium priced mouse like this. So overall, a very good package. If you happen to use the pre-installed dot skates, please note that they have a very small transparent film on them, which you need to remove, so don't short circuit. In-game, my performance with this has been surprisingly good and I feel extremely confident pushing fights with this mouse. It doesn't give me the supernatural ability to beat controllers, but it feels like a very effortless mouse to use for me. And that is for me very surprising. I imagined that no way I would be comfortable on a mouse this small, but here I am, praising it widely. The price of it is however kinda high considering it's a mouse from a relatively new company, but at least these 2 units I have bought from them have been pretty much flawless. Of course, there have been reports of QC issues with their products, and from my understanding their support is not as fast to respond as with more well-known companies, but that is somewhat to be expected. Honestly, I've had more QC problems recently with more expensive mice. For example, I RMA'd my Razor Viper Mini Signature Edition twice, and I also had to send this ULX to get repairs because of the extreme shell flexing. But yeah, in conclusion, I like this mouse a lot, and basically my only complaints with it are the poor battery life and the plastic rivets used to attach the PCB, none of which are huge issues for me. Thanks for watching and goodbye.